Right, today we're going to talk about factoring, and sorry I'm not here for this today, lovelies, but we'll review it tomorrow or over the Monday. God, I can't even speak. All right, so we have a formula here that says if something is being cubed minus something being cubed or adding, then what we have here is these are the same signs, but it's just the a and the b. Then you square your a plus multiply them together plus your b squared. The only difference with this formula is instead it goes plus, minus, plus, and this one is minus, plus, plus. So last one's always plus. So I used to tell my kids it's the soap. So your signs are the same, opposite, always positive. Same, opposite, always positive. So all you have to do is identify what your A and B is and plug it into the formula. So we need to find out what times itself 3 times gives you 8. So my A is 2x and the B is 1 because 2 times 2 times 2 would give me 8. And I'm just going to plug it in the formula here. So it'd be 2x minus 1. Square that. So remember that's 2x times 2x, make it a 4x squared. Multiply them together, square the last term. Same thing over here. I'm going to say my A is x, my B is 4 because 4 times 4 times 4 is 24. And then plug it in. It says that we get x times b, or a times b, a squared minus ab plus b squared. If we're going to solve these are just equal to 0. We would actually set each part equal to 0, and this gives me a half. This would give me -4. The other one's always the quadratic formula, which we're not going to do right now for sake, whatever. But you would do the negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. All right, so grouping is just like the underline method, where we pull out our GCF. So I say right here, I can pull out an x squared and divide each term by x squared. Here I can pull out a 9, and the reason I know is I do 45 divided by the 5. That's the number I have to be able to pull out. So I'm going to pull out a 9. So that's 2x minus 5. X squared plus 9. 2x minus 5. Set each part equal to 0 for me. So x squared plus 9 equals 0, and 2x minus 5 equals 0. So this one, you're going to get 2x equals 5, x equals 5 halves. Here, when I subtract my 9 over, and then I square root it, I'm going to get a negative under my radical right there. So we're also going to get plus or minus 3i is the other answer. So factor by grouping, and you can pause it and try it yourself if you want, and then come back and make sure you got it right. I'm going to set each part equal to 0, so you need to do x squared plus 1 equals 0, x plus 1 equals 0. So this gives me -1. This one, when I subtract over my -1, I'll be square rooting a negative again. So I'm going to have plus or minus I. Remember, if you haven't paused it to try it on your own, you should be trying these on your own before watching the video. Remember, if the third term's negative, you always pull out a negative. Set each part equal to 0 for me, and this gives you 2/3, and this is going to give me plus or minus the square root of 3. So these are just using the quadratic mode, meaning that we're going to factor just like we do with the x squared, but it has x to the 4th. So this is going to be like when I square root both of these terms, we put a plus or minus, I'm going to get x squared minus 6 and x squared plus 6 equals 0. And then you'd solve each term, equaling it to 0. So this gives me plus or minus square root of 6, and this will be plus or minus I square root of 6. Power 4, there should be 4 answers. Squared here, I'm going to get 9x squared minus 4, 9x squared plus 4. Now this is factored but not completely. So on the ACT, you need to factor this further. This would be factored into 3x minus 2, 3x plus 2, because it's a difference of squares. And then set each part equal to 0 and get all your answers. We get 2/3, -2/3, and this is going to be plus or minus 2/3 I, because this would be a negative when you set it equal to it. So this right here, I'm going to still do the AC method to it. So multiply factors of 30 to get 31 would be 30 and 1. So when I do 5x to the 4th, and this is me 30, and this is an x squared, so I'm putting an x squared here. And then still factor by grouping, just like we did before. So I'm going to take out a 5x squared this time. Take out a 1. So we get 5x squared plus 1 and x squared plus 6. So I'm going to get, that's going to be a negative under a radical, so I'll get negative let's see, it's square root with an I out in front, and it's going to be plus or minus another I out in front. So if you solve these, you should get plus or minus I squared of 1/5 plus or minus square root of 6. So this right here, you're going to do your negative 21 to get 4. Let's see, 7 and 3. 7 and negative 3. Since this is just a regular no number in front, you could cheat and jump to the answer just like we did before. If not, do like we did up here and expand it out and group it. So this gives me plus or minus I radical 7 and plus or minus radical 3. Let's see this one here. Negative 40 to get 39 would be 40 minus 1. So this is going to give me plus or minus, actually this should factor down to 2x minus 1, 2x plus 1, if you're factoring completely. So if that's what the directions say on the ACT, make sure you do that. I just want to show you this one right here. You'd factor out an x first, and you get x squared minus 6x plus 6. There are no factors of 6 to get 6, so this would have to be a quadratic. They wanted you to finish solving it. You'd have to do quadratic to it. This one, make sure you do it in order from highest to lowest. I'd take out an x here. There are no factors of 13 to get 10. So again, you have to do a quadratic formula on this, okay? I'm going to do this one real quick over here before my time is up. So in this one right here, if you try to pull out what was common, oh, these two go together. So that would be 2x cubed here, if I combine my like terms. So I would pull out the x cubed first, and then I have x squared minus 5x plus 2. Again, you'd have to do the quadratic formula if they asked you to solve that one.